This week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast is brought to you by warbyparker.com. Get a free 5-day home try-on at warbyparkertrial.com/red. 5 pairs, 5 days, 100% free.
Welcome to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We feature destination races from across the country. And after the race, we take you on a tour of the best local food and beverage to celebrate. So whether you are an elite runner or a back of the packer like us, you'll know the best places to accomplish, explore, and indulge on your next runcation. Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 81. I'm your host, Aimee.
And I'm your co-host, Dana.
Yes, welcome to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast, and welcome to fall.
Yeah, I think that this is officially our first episode of fall.
Well, even if it's not, we're in Florida, and walking outside this past week in the morning, walking the dogs, going on the training runs, in the morning, it felt like, oh, it's a whisper of fall.
Yeah, these days, getting down into the lower 90s as opposed to the mid to upper 90s have been so refreshing.
Yes, yes.
But they have been less humid.
Yes, I would say remarkably, whether we're talking about the middle of the afternoon or the morning is where I could feel it most, or actually leaving work tonight, just the breeze.
It's making all the difference in the world as far as your ability to enjoy going outside in the depths of that Florida summer. Just walking out the door fogs up your glasses, makes you start to sweat literally instantly. So now that we're actually getting temperatures in the lower 90s, and I'm only half kidding about that. It is actually true. But when our relative humidity is dropping into the 40s,
it's great.
That's fantastic for us. So we're not complaining, but
no,
we don't normally get true fall feeling weather until the very end of October.
That's true.
Usually here,
and
at least this far south in Florida.
Even it takes a couple weeks into November before we can feel it sometimes.
Yeah, it can. So it's been great, and it's really helped as far as feeling like getting out and hitting the pavement, and doing some training. And since this was not a travel week for us, it made all the difference in the world. Because
it wasn't like we were using a race that we were traveling to for training or a local race, anything like that. We didn't really have one going on this week that we did or that we could do around our work schedule. But
we did get some training in.
We did.
Or I should say you got more training in than I did.
Well, don't be too hasty now. I had a day off from work this week, and on that one day, I went on my 15-miler.
And you enjoyed some of that Florida autumn, that Florida fall.
Well,
and tell us all about it.
Sort of. See, the Florida fall feels better before the sun comes up when you're doing a 15-mile training run. But sometimes the allure of the dogs wanting to cuddle and snuggle after their morning walk is too much. And sometimes you just, I don't know, pitter-patter around the house, delay, and you don't really get started until the sun comes up, which is what happened to me. And
so mistakes were made.
Because, I got out there after the sun came up, and for the first couple of hours, it was really nice. But then we got into noon and 1 o'clock, and it was tough. You get in that headspace of it's taking me forever and I'm never going to get done. It's getting hotter and all of that. And I had to turn that around. What can I say? Get up as early as you can and somehow be motivated to get out the door before that sun gets overhead and it gets really hot. And perseverance, mental messages that you send yourself about being able to get it done and feeling that sense of accomplishment afterward. So key. So key.
Well, I know that you were varying up the route as much as you could to keep it interesting.
Yeah.
And you were using those positive mantras that Jeff Galloway talks about.
Oh, yeah.
And that we've talked about here on the show before. So you were trying to apply some of the stuff that we were talking about last week and the week before.
Yes. So
that's good.
Yeah. How did your training go?
My training is coming along. I am still, as listeners know, and if you're new to the show, I had my knee scoped back in June, and I've been in physical therapy ever since. I was allowed to start walking. So last week I did my 9-miler, and I did it without the knee brace because I was having some issues with the knee brace rubbing a raw spot on my knee, and I didn't want that, especially going into the last couple of weeks ahead of going down to Key West for the southernmost.
Right.
So I opted again for this week's run to not use the leg brace, and I was cleared by my physical therapist to do intervals for 1 mile.
1 mile.
1 mile. Now,
1 mile.
She's had me doing intervals on the treadmill in the physical therapy center and a lot of leg work to work on supporting muscles around the knee joint. All in all, I feel very good. My range of motion is back to where it was before. So I'm very fortunate in that respect. I'm not having any residual pain now. So now it's really all about strengthening and easing back into it. So they've had me doing a lot of lateral movement. They've had me doing ladder workouts with the rope ladder on the ground.
Ooh.
So I'm doing a lot of lateral movement, a lot of timing with my feet going in and out and then going side to side, doing a lot of work with the resistance bands to build up the supporting muscles. So she said I could do intervals. And I did intervals, and I got my 11-miler in. I was able to squeeze it in between work and getting some stuff done around the house. So I got up fairly early over the weekend and knocked out my first mile as basically a walk, just to get moving.
A warm-up.
Mile 2 is where I did my intervals, and I did a very conservative interval set. I basically did 10 seconds running, 50 seconds walking. Nothing crazy.
1 to 5.
A 1 to 5 ratio. And it was kind of funny in explaining to my therapist what the Jeff Galloway method is and how I would do it. And once I said, look, I can do whatever intervals you think is okay, and I can go as short as I need to. I said, I can run for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever. I said, I'm fine doing it like that. And she's like, oh, well, in that case, do a mile, walk the rest, and then report back. Wednesday morning is my first appointment for the week for a physical therapist. I get to report back to her. So I was able to do my mile with no pain.
So here's my question, because you said she's having you do intervals.
Yes.
On the treadmill.
Yes.
And then you did intervals outside. And do you notice an appreciable difference between doing them on the treadmill and doing them outside?
Yeah, the treadmill by design that has a softer deck, so there's more shock absorption. And that was her whole point of starting me on doing the treadmills.
Okay.
She's having me run there because she wants to just get me accustomed to doing the running. And she was actually a little bit concerned at first when I started doing the intervals. I want to say we started doing them 2 weeks ago. She said, you're being too conservative on your left side, which is the knee that I got scoped. She goes, I can tell you're shortening up or you're favoring that leg a little bit. So I want to see you, see you get your stride more symmetrical and get your confidence back. And truthfully, it is, I think, a subconscious effort on my part to protect that part of my body that's injured. So
I'm right there with you, having done that in the past.
Yeah. So I didn't want to perpetuate that and then cause myself to have either another injury due to me favoring one side, or aggravated an IT band or something else because I'm trying to compensate. So she made sure that my stride was looking good, doing that before clearing me to do my intervals this week on the road. So I noticed, of course, running on the road in my same shoes, it's a little harder as far as the impact.
Yeah.
But I was doing a much shorter interval than she was having me do. She has me running for a minute, walking for a minute.
Well, it's really challenging to do shorter intervals on a treadmill.
It is. I don't think there are really good treadmills that I have seen anyway that allow you to move from a run interval to a walk interval quickly and gracefully.
Right.
So you do the best you can if you're doing interval training on a treadmill. I don't like it. I'm just not a fan of it.
Because I tend to do a really short running intervals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really kind of jarring on a treadmill, to be honest. I can't. If you're doing a shorter one, then it's too much acceleration and deceleration rather than being out there and going through the drills that Jeff talks about with the acceleration gliders and moving in and out on the road.
No, I don't think that you can effectively do things like acceleration gliders on a treadmill.
You can't.
You can make the intervals happen.
Yeah.
But in order to really get the feel for road running, there's no substitute, I don't think, other than just getting out on the road and doing it. I think the treadmill manufacturers do the best they can.
Oh, sure.
But over time, they get out of whack. I am much, quote unquote, faster on a treadmill than I am on the road. The treadmill is a liar. I get off of it. I'm like, woo, I am fast. I kick butt. I get out on the road and I'm like, I'm the slowest thing ever. Sometimes that's the only training you can do. Like, for us, sometimes in the summer with our thunderstorms that we have here, outdoor running is an absolute no-go.
Right.
Not because of the rain, but because of the lightning.
Safety.
It's a safety issue here.
Right.
And in some climates, if you get up further north, you got snow in the wintertime, ice, whatever the case may be.
And that's not safe either.
No. So the treadmill serves its purpose. And right now for me, it's a therapeutic tool. So that was good.
Mm-hmm.
Was able to do my 10-second running, 50-second walking, then walk the rest of it.
Yay.
Did it without the leg brace and felt really good by the end of it. So all things considered, not bad. And I'm accelerating my training. So while this is not a Jeff Galloway prescribed method, what I am trying to do is get my training mileage up to par so that I at least have pushed my wall out to that 13-mile mark by the time we go down to Key West on October 11th, 12th. Yeah. So this weekend, I am doing a half marathon for training. So I'll be doing 13.1 here at home in the neighborhood or wherever I end up running. I got a pretty good idea. I think I'm gonna go basically 6.5 out and 6.5 back. That way I force myself to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're not going to push yourself with the addition of interval running.
I'm going to see what she'll allow me to do. I'm going to try to practice a little bit like I'm going to play, get a little more interval training in, just because, again, wanting to get myself reacclimated to it. Because I haven't been able to do the speed work. It's been so much. So I've been relying so much on the walking, and I'm just eager to get back to running. And I am just that person who, after about 3.5 hours, my attention span for running goes away. I'm not, and then if I have a run where I'm at the 4-hour mark, I'm just done. I'm ready to call an Uber.
You're speaking of being out there on the road for a long time. And if you're just focusing only on the running, and you're not using mantras and you're not using maybe motivational music or podcasts to help you with that mental training and mental strategy, then that can be a tough road to hoe.
It is. And I'm going to use all of them. I did it on the walk portion. It was kind of nice. On the running portion, I was really just focused on my cadence and counting my footfalls. Yeah. To make sure I was getting at least 15 footfalls during that 10-second period. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Because I count to this day.
Yeah. So I was focusing on my footfalls, and then during the walk portion, I was enjoying some podcasts and some music because I had 9 miles at that point to go.
Well, we had a very important day to us over this past weekend.
We did.
Yes. We had International Podcast Day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I listened to a lot of different podcasts while I was out there on the 15 miler. And you listened to some. What we want to know is, what do you listen to on your long run? Or, if you're in the car and it's a commute and that is your marathon to get to work, right? What podcasts do you listen to? They don't necessarily have to be running related, just something that is interesting, makes you think, motivates you, makes you laugh, gets you in that right headspace so that monkey brain that Jeff talks about doesn't take over.
I probably have 35 or 40 different podcasts in my library at any given time. That's about all I listen to. 70 to 80% of the time is spoken word content and podcasts. But I know that there are tons out there that we haven't heard about. Things for running, things for eating, things for drinking. And it doesn't even have to be that. We just want to know what you guys are listening to other than the Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
Yes.
We're looking for new content all the time.
Oh, yeah. So
we have a 6-hour drive ahead of us in the middle of October.
Let's share.
We would love some suggestions because it's 6 hours each way. So it's 12 hours on the road.
For Key West. So we need some good content there. And you need some good content ahead of long run and speed work coming this week. So...
And if you are looking for some suggestions from us, head on over to the Facebook page or Instagram. We posted, or I should say you posted a bunch of episode artwork and links and tagged the podcasters of some of our favorites.
Yes.
And if you're looking for some new content on a variety of topics, and it includes technology, pop culture, beer, humor,
whatever.
We have some suggestions
Recreation,
for you.
vacation.
But I think go check those out. But we would love your suggestions. So if you have some suggestions of things that I can listen to while driving us down to Key West, do me a favor.
Send us an email at info@runeatdrink.net with maybe a little voice memo or audio file attached. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from, what your recommendation is. Or leave us a voicemail at 941-677-2733. We'd love to hear it, and we'd love to share, because the podcast community, we showed them some love, and we want to show them some more love.
Absolutely. And we're always looking for good shows to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So after your run and after my run, we were starving, famished even.
So hungry.
And it didn't help matters that all this week, every time we would open up social media or check our email, you guys were tempting us with the food of your childhood.
He means this in a very positive way.
I really do. It's just that that this was... We get feedback from you guys, and y'all talk about how you get hungry when we're describing food. Well, we were on the receiving end of that from you guys this week.
Oh, it was great. It was great. We asked last week because Dana went on that infinity hunt while I was at work, and he got chicken fingers from Paradise Pizza, and that took him back to his childhood, fed his inner 8-year-old. So we asked, what takes you back? And we got an email from a listener, Stephanie Swan, and she said, I would say my favorite childhood comfort food was always my dad's spaghetti. He used fresh, never frozen hamburger and veal, and also fresh herbs and spices. He'd let the sauce sit and cook in a crock pot on low heat for 8 hours, and it was magnificent.
That sounds magnificent.
She says, I'll send you the recipe. Ooh. Yes. But if I had to choose a restaurant source for a favorite childhood comfort food, Rib City's cheese fries with spicy ranch and a cold tea. I'm wondering if that's a sweet tea or an unsweet tea.
Well, as a child who grew up in the southern part of the United States, I would say there's only one correct answer to that question, and that is sweet tea.
Sweet tea. Yeah. Sweet tea. She says, during my high school years and local county 4-H, My friends and I, who had livestock shown in the fair, would clean our animals in our stalls and head to Rib City, and each of us would order our own plate of fries and spicy ranch, the melted cheese over waffle fries, minus the bacon for hers. I would have the bacon. And the cool but kickin' ranch always hit the spot.
I actually have a favorite from here too.
Oh, really?
I do.
What is it?
They do an absolutely phenomenal fried okra.
Ooh, that is a good Southern comfort food.
And they serve it with that same ranch that she's talking about. So I know exactly what she's talking about.
Ooh.
With that ranch. But
I love me some fried okra.
Oh, but when you're talking about cheese fries, that's one also that I can totally associate. That goes back to high school.
Yeah.
Not my younger childhood, but yeah, I'm right there with you, Stephanie. That's a great suggestion.
Yeah, but I mean also homemade spaghetti.
Oh.
I want that recipe, I'm just saying, because pasta is my go-to for any pre-race carbo loading type of meal. Seriously.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. We also had some feedback from the Runcation Nation on Facebook.
Yes.
Our group.
We did.
Our group. I don't know if you all are familiar with American Ninja Warrior.
It's a little show on NBC.
Yeah,
a couple of people watched that.
A couple of weeks ago, they just concluded. They just had their season finale, and they had a $1 million winner. Spoilers for anybody who still has it on a DVR or whatever. But we have a local hero that's part of that American Ninja Warrior culture who has been on that show and who is just a fantastic role model, teacher, award-winning educator. He is part of our Runcation Nation. Morgan the Moose Wright, who's been on our podcast before, he said the pancakes at Bullig Coffee and Bites in Fort Myers. And if you look on the website
or on Yelp,
I mean, they have very creatively and cleverly named their menu items. And it's a long-standing staple in the community. And it just, I mean, all the breakfast items, I want to go. And they have specials that they post on Facebook all the time. And all of these recommendations we'll link to in the show notes so you can check them out. But his recommendation, pancakes, they warm you up.
They do. And there's just something about having breakfast cooked for you. It's almost like Saturday morning when maybe your parents would bring you food and you're watching TV. Or,
Saturday morning cartoons for our generation.
Yeah. And, something like that. And just, I love like a weekend tradition for us going to get brunch or breakfast.
Oh.
And that's part of it. So you can find Rib Cities in other locations outside of Florida. This is unique to Southwest Florida. So
yes.
We will definitely link to them so that you can check them out the next time you're down here in the area of Cape Coral, Fort Myers, or the beaches of Sanibel.
You're so right about the memory of somebody cooking breakfast for you, because some of my strongest childhood memories are my dad waking me up in the morning and asking me, do I want a dippy egg?
Yeah.
How do you want your egg?
Yeah.
And
dippy egg being like an over easy.
Like an over easy egg. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He would call it a dippy egg for me when I was young. And and coming down and just him in the kitchen and me having breakfast. Oh, it is just, it takes you back, makes you feel so good thinking about that. But,
I hear you.
We also had another Facebook recommendation, did we not? I feel like you should take this one because you are a huge fan.
I am a fan, and this is a friend of mine from high school, Trong Bryan. She said that pho is a favorite, and in Tampa she gets it, and I'm going to butcher the name of this place, I think, is the Thin An Kitchen, Saigon Deli, and Simply Pho. She says, It reminds me of weekends during childhood when my mom would make it from scratch, and still to this day, when it's cold or hot out, when I'm happy or sad, when it's spring or fall, I need me some pho. And I am a huge fan of pho. You're talking about just delicate rice noodles in this rich, unctuous bone broth with vegetables, and my favorite is when you get that really thinly sliced beef that's basically cooked by being poached in the hot broth, and it's so tender and it's just amazing. And pho is a Vietnamese delicacy, and it is just incredible. Now, this does bring to mind the argument of pho or ramen. That's a debate for another day,
of course.
But if you're going to a place that's doing pho correctly, it is so good, because it's just the time that goes into making a proper pho broth. Because it's not something you do quick. It's certainly nothing you do with a bouillon cube and some water. I mean, you're talking, you're extracting all the flavor from these beef shank bones, and you're just the marrow and the thyme and then the extra vegetables and herbs and spices. It is so good.
See, this is why I had you take this one.
Yeah. I am, and you've seen me order it more times than you can count when we're out. So I'm a huge fan, and I am right there with you, Trung. That's amazing.
It's comfort food.
It really
is. It
is
truly comfort food for you.
You can't eat it quickly.
You have to savor it.
You have to savor it. You got to slurp. I mean, it's noodles. It's it's not something you can really power through. So I get that then.
And you feel that broth in your bones when you eat it.
You do.
When you eat the pho.
When it's done right.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Saigon Deli or simply pho.
Well, she said it might be in the surrounding areas of Tampa, like how you get out there to Carrollwood and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That would be why.
So, but I linked to all of it in the show notes.
Okay.
So
we might have a road trip the next time we're up there.
Yeah, for sure. We had some feedback on Instagram as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Transforming Toby on Instagram says, my favorite childhood comfort food is grilled cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Grilled cheese. And this is not the only person that said grilled cheese. I'm just saying. One of my sisters or my mom came up with the idea that putting a slice of American cheese between 2 slices of white bread and microwaving it for 15 seconds was a grilled cheese. She says, today I only appreciate real grilled cheese. And she says, in Austin, Texas, there are 2 places to go and get it. First, and I hope I'm not butchering this, Burro Cheese Kitchen. And I looked at the menu online, and the one I want to try when we go out there for a race.
And we have some friends in Austin, so we have an excuse to go visit.
Yes, is the Waylon and Willie.
Ooh.
Sourdough, come on. Sourdough, aged cheddar, Gouda, caramelized onions, pepperoncinis, and spicy maple bacon sauce.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. And the other place that she recommended was Holy, with a W, Holy Cow, and they make their grilled cheese with Texas toast.
See, there's nothing wrong with any of that stuff that you just described right there. That all sounds incredible.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine?
And I'm right there with her. I grilled cheese, and I mean, I can go as basic as 2 slices of Wonder Bread and processed American cheese, butter the bread, grill it up, serve it up.
Oh, yeah.
I can go that simple. But that Waylon and Willie that you described.
Doesn't that sound amazing?
That sounds absolutely fantastic.
Oh my God. I just want it. Let's, have it playing.
My mouth is watering as we're talking.
I'm just saying. So we also have a runner friend who has completed the Dopey at Walt Disney World. And he goes by Run Disnerd on Instagram. Michael Leslie says, American chop suey is comfort food of his. And a place that he now lives in Orlando, but before, when he lived in Salem, Massachusetts, he said the place to go get it is Ledger Ledger.
Ledger.
Mm-hmm.
Ledger. Okay.
Yeah. And in checking out the menu, it may have been some kind of special because I didn't see it as a regular offering on the menu, or maybe I was just missing it.
Or we're breaking some really bad news to him on this episode that one of his favorites is gone.
Well, let's stay positive and say that it's a special.
Okay.
Right? Maybe it's a special or something like that. But I saw brunch items that looked really comfort foody on their menu, like maple glazed pork belly, creamy grits, cheddar, sous vide eggs, fried greens. Oh my God. Can you, because,
You had me at maple glazed pork belly,
God.
and then you tack on creamy grits. Come on.
I mean, it's got to be good, right?
That's just not fair.
It's so got to be good. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of our followers, Just Take a Dip, who we know as Steph, who is full of great Florida travel tips on her website, justadayinparadise.com. Mm-hmm. She says, my favorite comfort food when I was a kid was mac and cheese. Right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a strong contender. My palate has matured, but still, who doesn't want mac and carbs? You're not wrong.
I want it.
We think the best adult version is at Charlie's Steakhouse in Tampa.
See why I had you take this one?
Oh, and I know Charlie's very well. They have a lobster mac and cheese that is served as a side, but it is huge. It has big hunks of fresh lobster and a creamy cheese sauce. It goes great with their wood-grilled, wet-aged steaks. Get it to go if you want to be alone with it. And Charlie's does also have a location in Orlando. It's right off of I-4.
I think we should go.
That could be arranged because I believe we're going to be in Orlando not too long from now.
Tampa, Orlando. I just feel like we should go. I don't think we need to take it to go because we don't need to be alone with it. I just think we need to film each other as when you taste it. I just think the facial expressions need to be captured and the sounds.
I don't know who came up with the idea because mac and cheese by itself is pretty darn good. But then you're going to go, you know what? This needs lobster meat. Oh man, it's almost cheating. You're just adding so much deliciousness to something that's already amazing.
I know.
But I'm right there with you, Steph.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Check her out.
I vote yes.
She is Just Take a Dip on Instagram.
Yep.
And her website is justadayinparadise.com. Links in the show notes.
Yes. Yes.
Now, we also got a message from our friend Suzanne up in Lexington who hooked us up when we were there for the Run the Bluegrass.
Oh, she was so full of great recommendations like Poppy's Mexican Restaurant and Red State Barbecue.
Oh, what did she have to say for this one?
She says in Lexington, Kentucky, Ramsey's is the place to go to for a country girl's comfort food. And she talks about the veggie plate. It looks amazing. And you would see, greens, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, all of those great Southern comfort foods. But then I saw on the list in the menu, Parmesan deep fried corn on the cob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love places like this if they are doing true Southern cooking. And even if you go to a chain like, say, Cracker Barrel, you can get the veggie plate. And I put veggie in quotes because a lot of Southern veggies are fried, covered in butter, slathered in gravy. Oh. They're cooked appropriately.
Give me the potato casserole.
Right. They're covered in cheese. And we have here locally, we have a farmer's market that does a lot of soul food, and they do basically a veggie plate, and you get all the sides, basically 4 or 5 sides as your meal. And this sounds absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
And Suzanne knows her stuff.
Oh my goodness.
She was spot on with her recommendations being from the area when we were up there traveling. So we'll be linking to Ramsey's also in the show notes. So if you're going to be heading up towards Lexington, like say maybe if you're running the Bluegrass this year and you're looking for a place to check out, Ramsey's is probably going to be a great one for you. And we'd love to hear if you do go to any of these.
Oh, definitely.
Let us know.
Yes.
we got a message from one of the food trucks we've talked about on the show.
Yes, that we featured. They have just shown us some love.
And it's kind of funny. I half expect them to go, we recommend that you come try some Mediterranean cuisine from your favorite bright green food truck.
Chicken shawarma?
Yeah. But no, it was actually, they said, one of our favorites, comfort foods, is Mansaf, Mansaf. And again, I took Arabic in college. It's been many, many years since I've used it, and I am going to butcher it. So Mansaf, which is goat or lamb that is slow cooked in a yogurt sauce over rice, covered with toasted pine nuts. The last time I had this, it was a Lebanese variant.
Uh-huh.
And it was at a restaurant that's name escapes me right now in Atlanta.
I've never had this.
Back in the 90s.
Oh.
And it is fantastic.
I've never had it.
Yeah. And this place was legit. I mean, they were cooking foods that probably you would only find on someone's dining room table. I mean, it was just family style food, and this was just so good. And we actually said, hey, where can you find it locally? Here we could recommend. And they were actually very honest. They said, we don't know where to tell you to get it here locally. Probably if you're looking, you're going to need to go to a larger city,
major metro,
in Florida, like Tampa, Miami.
Yeah.
And they're from Dearborn, Michigan. They're like, definitely in Dearborn. But if you are a fan of Mediterranean cuisine, if you like those flavors, you're looking at something that when you're talking about lamb, which has that natural gaminess, and then you have like a yogurt sauce, which is going to give it that thickness, almost like a gravy, and that tartness, that is just going to hit all the right notes, and you're going to just I can smell it in my mind right now as we're talking about it, and it's just fantastic. And if you can find that on a menu somewhere, take a picture, let us know, and tell us where to get it. Because again, I haven't had it for probably close to 20 years in Atlanta, so I'd love to hear where you.
And I haven't had it at all.
And you haven't had it at all, and you should absolutely.
Tell us where.
Tell us where. So we had a busy week.
Yeah.
We got all this great feedback. You guys were freaking fantastic, and we cannot thank you enough. So, if you're heading to any of these places, of course, hit us up and let us know. But we were really kind of squeezing all these runs in between work, errands, and then you had a doctor's appointment.
I did. It was time for me to have my yearly eye exam. Yeah. I was actually overdue, squeezing it in we've just been so busy with the travel and the races and things like that. But it's been 2 years since I got a new pair of glasses.
Well, I think it's about time.
And I need a great resource I want to mix it up. I want to get some new frames. I feel like, we've worked so hard and we've lost all this weight and we're on our running journey.
And that's going to make a difference in how they fit.
Yeah.
Because you lose weight everywhere.
Yeah. So I'm so excited that Warby Parker is a sponsor of the Run Eat Drink podcast this week's show, and that they have a special offer for the Run Eat Drink podcast Runcation Nation.
We've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks, and that is that you can go on to warbyparkertrial.com/red. That is the promotional link. Help support the show. And you get the free, no cost to you, 5 pairs, 5-day try-on. Go on their site, pick out the frames that you want, that you think you might want. They will ship them to you at no cost. You have 5 days. Try them on, see how they look, how they feel, how they look with different outfits.
how they feel when you're running, how they feel and look with different accessories for work, for a night out on the town. Model them for your friends and family and get some feedback. Or maybe I'll even get some feedback from the Runcation Nation.
Yeah, because it sounds like someone is going to be taking advantage of this offer, and we're going to actually show you guys the frames that Aimee's going to pick out, and you can help her select the ones that look the best for her.
Yeah, and I'm so excited because they all come with an anti-reflective and anti-glare coating. That's no additional cost. They all have a hard case and a cleaning cloth. You know, once you decide on which frame is going to be yours, when they fill your prescription and send you the glasses, you have everything you need to take care of those glasses, and they start at $95.
And I know that the pairs you're replacing were about $400 each.
Yeah, they are not cheap.
So you're getting top quality prescription glasses starting at $95. You get to try on 5 pairs for 5 days at your own home, 100% free. Go to warbyparkertrial.com/red. That's /RED for the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. Go check them out. Get yourself some glasses, support the show, and we thank Warby Parker for their support of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
You know, we've talked about running. We've talked about eating. You know what's left.
It's time to have a beverage.
It is time to have a beverage. Now, you know we're big fans of beer. And if you listen to this podcast for any extended period of time, our dog just woke up and shook out. And so if you hear him in the background, he's stretching his legs. He was taking a nap while we were recording. So if you have listened to our podcast for any length of time, we sure do thank you for listening and downloading and subscribing.
But you know that we are also huge, and I mean huge, coffee nerds.
Yes. If you follow our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter feeds, you know that almost daily we will post some kind of quote or picture or thought, or maybe just us enjoying coffee.
Yeah, whether it's going to the local coffee shop to sit and read and then have a cup, when we're on vacation, making a cup of coffee in the room and sitting on the balcony, or if it's just making a cup here at home, getting ready in the morning for work, you know, cracking a pod on the Nespresso and doing our crazy morning routine.
It's what I look forward to as part of our morning routine the most, having a cup of hot coffee that tastes really flavorful, really good.
And you can get so many different flavors and so many different varieties and so many different preparations of coffee, whether it's a standard drip brew to a Turkish coffee that's unfiltered to, I mentioned the coffee pods or espressos, cappuccinos, all that. Well, there's so much coffee out there, and there are so many places that are doing it, but there's a place that you may not be aware is making some killer coffee.
You know Big Storm Brewing Company, because we have actually done a hot take on their black IPA on the show a couple weeks back.
We did.
And we did a whole series with their hurricane releases and talked with their head brewer, Kevin Long. Well, I will tell you, they also have, under the Big Storm umbrella, they have Big Storm Coffee Company. Big Storm Coffee Company.
They're not just brewing beer, they're brewing coffee.
Yes, they're roasting coffee. They're looking at different blends of coffee. They have just celebrated their first year. And we are so lucky that John Schroeder from Big Storm arranged to have their head roaster at Big Storm Coffee Company come down and have a coffee chat with us. And his name is Chris Ramsey.
And Chris was so kind with his time and his expertise. He's their resident coffee master, picking their varietals, making their blends, doing the cupping, ensuring the quality and consistency of their beans, bagging their beans for sale.
We're so glad to bring you our coffee chat with the head roaster at Big Storm Coffee Company to help us celebrate National Coffee Day.
That's right, it was.
So here is our chat with Chris Ramsey. Hey everybody, it's Aimee from the Run Eat Drink podcast at runeatdrink.net. I'm coming to you from Big Storm Brewing in Cape Coral, Florida, and with me today is head coffee roaster Chris Ramsey. He is joining us because, yes, Big Storm, you know we love their beer, but they roast coffee too. And he's here to talk about it because he is the man in charge. Thank you so much for joining us and for being a part of this episode. We're so excited.
Yeah, thank you, Aimee, for having me on this.
You are the one who started all of this at Big Storm. Big Storm Coffee Company exists because of you, right?
Yes.
You have a passion for coffee. Where did that come from?
Mainly just doing research. When I first started, my passion wasn't really there. I just saw another opportunity to help Big Storm grow.
So you started on the beer side?
Well, not actually. I started doing some analysis. So I'm working in finance with the company. So it's weird because I have an engineering and a finance background. But once I was able to get opportunity to see us to expand with the coffee, it helped me to understand, doing my research, helped me to understand more about how coffee is made, which grew the love that I have for it today.
People who follow our Instagram know that we are coffee obsessed or we're coffee aficionados.
I like the term coffee.
Right, you like it?
Yep,
yeah.
Yep, that's
and
a good one.
And it's a great occasion because yesterday, you know, and I know, our viewers and our listeners probably know, it was National Coffee Day.
Yep.
So that's probably a big celebration for Big Storm Coffee Company, right?
Yeah, it's something that we like to do, something special for everybody. This year, we was giving away coffee mugs.
Ooh, coffee mugs, like the ones that are here?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That was the thing, and we made a big announcement as well.
Can you talk about the big announcement? Because I know what it is, but I want our audience to know what it is too.
Yeah, of course. So we are opening up our first retail location. It will be in Clearwater, Florida, down the street from our brewery.
So you brew the beer up, and it's in Clearwater? It's in Clearwater.
It's in Clearwater.
So right down the road, you're going to open up a coffee creamery, would you say?
Yes, it's going to be a coffee creamery. So coffee and ice cream.
Coffee and ice cream. I love Big Storm and all of the products that there's beer that's delicious that probably informs or inspires the coffee. Is that right?
Correct.
Yes. How does it do that?
So one of our core coffees are Havana.
Ooh, our Havana.
Havana after midnight. So this is our dark roast coffee. In this coffee, we use a Brazil and Colombian blend coffees, and we try to mimic the profile characteristics of our beer, our Havana after midnight porter. So you get a lot of tobacco flavor and a little sweet that you get in the beer is what we have in this coffee.
And it's a dark roast.
Dark roast.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it kind of has a strong flavor.
Correct.
Is that right? So anybody who is you like a dark roast, but it's not going to be bitter. It's going to be smooth.
It's going to be smooth. Correct. We have Sunrise Daydream, which is a light roast coffee. Our Pirate's Fortune is a medium roast
Oh,
coffee
now,
that we offer.
that's a medium roast, so that's kind of the middle of the road for people who don't want anything that's too dark
Correct.
or too light, somewhere like, I mean, it's the Goldilocks kind of coffee, I guess.
Yes.
Right? Right?
Yep.
But it's named Pirate's Fortune. Is that like a Tampa reference?
Yes. We had that name before with one of our other beers. And that's where we came up with that name for that.
So the coffee and the beer are connected throughout the line.
Exactly.
I got that. I got that now.
We have some others that we have. It's one Morning Blend.
Morning Blend.
Which is a coffee that we did for ABC's Morning Blend in Tampa Bay. We did that coffee for them when we came on the show, and that coffee actually won a medal a couple weeks ago.
Award-winning coffee.
Correct.
That's like in a national competition?
Yes. So they have a competition every year. It's the Golden Bean, North American Golden Bean competition.
But you also have in your tap room, so you do the beans for sale, but you also have up there in the Clearwater area where people can order cold brew or hot coffee or...
Yes, so we have coffee in kegs, so if there's somebody, an office that wants to bring our coffee in kegs, we can do that as well.
Awesome.
So we can do keg coffee for the offices to help their employees stay awake at work. You know,
of course.
You always want that. So
energize the work day.
Exactly.
Energizing. Yes.
So we do that, and we have cold brew cans.
Cold brew cans, and like here we have the nitro.
Yes, we have nitro and original.
Okay, we have nitro and we have original, and then it's on tap here in Cape Coral.
Yes, we have the nitro.
Yeah, yeah.
Our nitro cold brew is on tap in all of our locations.
We're gonna have a little bit of a coffee tasting. Is that right?
That is correct.
It's so good. Okay, I'll try it.
Not bad.
Oh, I got a berry.
Yeah.
When I inhaled, I got that berry scent really strong this time.
Yep.
Yeah? I love it. I love it. It doesn't need anything for me. But, Chris, now, you talked about the announcement yesterday of the big expansion of the retail location of the coffee creamery that's going to be right down the road from the brewery.
Correct.
And we know that the beer from Big Storm is expanding into other states now, the Carolinas and New Jersey.
Yes.
Is that the hope and wish for the coffee side eventually?
Eventually.
Yeah.
We hope to get our cans and our bags in other states as well.
Well, I certainly hope you do. And for the coffee lovers and the coffee connoisseurs in our audience, it's just bigstormbrewing.com, and then there's a page on the website all about the coffee and the creamery. Is that right? Yes. So, and you also have a following on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
Yes. So we'll link to all of that in our show notes so that you can follow the announcements and the growth and find out more about Big Storm Coffee. And Chris, normally when we have a beer here, at the end when we talk to a head brewer, like when we talked to Kevin here about the Big Storm Hurricane release, we toasted with him at the end to say thank you. So I would like to raise a glass and say thank you for the awesome knowledge that you have thrown at us.
It was an honor.
So cheers to you.
Cheers.
And cheers to Big Storm Coffee Company.
He was such a nice guy and so knowledgeable about the coffee.
We did a couple of live broadcasts, one on Facebook, one on Instagram.
Yes.
And he was so fantastic just walking us through the cupping process that he goes through to get those beans exactly where he wants them.
Yes.
And then walking us through a pour over to prepare the perfect cup. So
Yes.
I can't recommend highly enough that if you are down here in Florida or you have access to it, go to the Big Storm Brewing tap room anywhere here in the state where there is one. Try the cold brew because he's doing something really special with that cold brew.
Oh,
And then I believe they're selling the whole bean in the tap rooms.
well, we've seen it here.
We're seeing it here. But then if you're in the Clearwater area,
Yeah.
check out that new place that's going to be opening up when it opens. Oh. It's going to be awesome.
Coffee and ice cream, and some of the ice creams are connected to the beer flavors.
I can't wait to try that and
So-
feature that on the show too.
I can't wait to get up there.
And again, they are not a sponsor.
No.
They are just, again, it's a local place that we happen to really like.
Yeah.
They are a local Florida craft brewery and roastery.
Yes.
Now. And we just happen to be really big fans of what they do, and we think it's worth checking out if you're down here in Florida.
And we will release some additional footage here in our feed and in our social media so that you can see kind of that the cupping process and the way they select their blends. And if you didn't check out the live Facebook or Instagram, you know, that's still up there, and we can share tidbits of that as well.
Yeah, we're going to be dropping some video quick bites, right? Video quick bites are going to be coming this week in the feed. So if you're getting those and you happen to be listening to them, but you want to check out and see what we're doing, check those out in a podcatcher app that is video friendly.
Yes.
And you'll be able to see that. And you'll also be able to check it out at runeatdrink.net.
Of course.
So thank you. We really, really had a blast there at Big Storm Brewing. You guys
Yes.
are awesome.
John, Chris, everybody there, thank you so much for helping us celebrate National Coffee Day. And that'll do it for us for this episode. But remember, next week, we want your podcast recommendations, and send them to us on info@runeatdrink.net, or call us with your recommendation at 941-677-2733. Help us celebrate the International Podcast Day for even longer.
And
Yes.
help us out with our upcoming long drives.
Oh,
I can
yes.
definitely use some fresh content to listen to.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we really appreciate you guys giving us some suggestions and letting us know what else is sharing some space on your mobile devices, along with the Run Eat Drink podcast. We want to know what kind of great company we're in.
And we'd also love you to help us celebrate as part of International Podcast Day by giving us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Yes, for your favorite Runcation podcast. Give us a rating and review. And if you have done that already, then share our show with a fellow Runcationer as a way to celebrate too. And tag us so we know you shared and we can say thank you.
So for this week, I am your co-host, Dana.
And I'm your host, Aimee.
And you've been listening to the Run Eat Drink podcast.
Have a great week. Have a great race. Have a great long run or a commute. And we will talk to you really soon. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We're having a great third year because of your support. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Run, Eat, Drink podcast. And on Twitter, we're at Run, Eat, Drink pod. You can also give us a call at 941-677-2733 or shoot us an email at info@runeatdrink.net. Visit our website at runeatdrink.net and click on the subscribe link so you don't miss a minute. Accomplish, explore, and indulge right along with us. We'll talk to you next time.